Brian Mast, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, for more on all of this. So you heard Steve Witkoff say at the top, thank you for the salute. Good to see you, Congressman. You heard Steve Witkoff say near the top that the president had a great meeting, very heartfelt, moving meeting with the hostages who had been held by Hamas and the hell that they went through, which prompted him to write the following about Hamas on Truth Social. Shalom Hamas, he said, means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it's over for you. I am sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leadership, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. I mean, clearly his state of mind is on full display there. How do you think it will unfold going forward?
I think what he did is he set forth a time frame, basically, to say you can have a conversation about negotiating how you leave and the time that you leave this area, or it can be an execution. Those are the two options. There's no more room for in between. You're going to return all hostages. You're going to return the bodies. I think the conversation even goes to bodies that were held going back to 2015, like people like Hadar Golden and others. They've been holding on to bodies for years. All of this comes down to foreign intelligence agencies. They look at the world and they say President Trump's yes is yes, his no is no. You're rolling the dice if you don't listen to him. And Hamas is wise to look at the world in that same way.
Well, here's the way that Hamas is looking at the world. Here's what they said in response to the president. The best track, they said, to release the remaining Israeli prisoners is by going into the second phase and compelling it, Israel, to adhere to the agreement signed under the sponsorship of mediators. But there's this interesting take from Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, who wrote this on X: free all the hostages or start killing Hamas members again. I fully agree with President Trump. I mean, that doesn't leave any room for interpretation.
And I think he and I are falling on the same page with this, which is there's a time to negotiate how many steps and what day it is that you actually depart, or again, it's a time for an execution. As we know, the special envoy Steve Witkoff, along with the National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, will be traveling to Saudi Arabia on March the 11th for a second meeting. This one will be with Zelensky's chief of staff. As Steve Witkoff was saying, hopefully, he says, it will lay down a framework for a peace deal and a ceasefire. Do you think, and you may not know personally, but you're a good reader of tea leaves, is Zelensky now in a place where he wants peace? I think Zelensky has heard the message from the president, and this week is a different world than last week, both for Zelensky and for Europe and for Russia. And let's say it in this way. Zelensky knows that the president is playing hardball with him. He's not going to take any crap. And if Zelensky's not coming to the table for peace, then don't bother speaking to the president. This is where the president's at. Europe has read the message of hardball and said, OK, UK is saying they're going to add an additional $2 billion every single year into European defense. EU is saying they're going to do a $150 billion defense fund. Germany is saying they're going to do $400 to $450 billion in defense. So that's a new week for Europe because they weren't there a week before. This is because of the president's messaging. And that's a new message to Russia as well. Hey, because of what President Trump is saying, Europe is now stepping up in a totally different way.
We will see how it all unfolds in the days and weeks ahead. Congressman, thank you for being with us. And as always, thank you for your service.
Thanks again.
Appreciate it.